Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Wire Sports Media. This is your Saturday Vibe edition. All right, so coming off of our intense preseason game where it looks rough from the start. I mean, rough in every way, form, or fashion. If you was on a ocean with a boat and there was a lot of bad waves, that's the kind of rough I'm talking about. The Indiana Fever started out very, very sluggish today. I just did a live stream, was on there covering the game, and there's a lot of details because I feel like at the end of the day, um, I feel like at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that still need to be cleaned up, a lot of things that we still see that is problematic. So I'm going to start with the bad first, and then I'm gonna dive into the good. The Fever started out real rough. Sydney Colson got the start at point guard in place with Caitlin Clark, who was out out today with a leg injury. But she did clear it up. She said she just have a little tightness. Nothing. She's getting treatment for it and everything. So most likely she'll play tomorrow's game against Brazil because we know that's the Iowa game. She coming back home to her alma mater. So definitely we know she'll play. And Stephanie White already alluded to taking precautionary measures for that. And also he thinking long term instead of short term because we don't want to risk injury. Now, as for the starters of the game, Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, Sydney Colston, um, Lex, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. I was not happy with the start of the game. I understand it's a preseason game and it just started out. But the fact of the matter is that this game really shows that there are still some bad tendencies that certain players are still doing. Like Kelsey Mitchell, still dribbling with her head down. She needs to be able to, she's not playing in China, so she's going to have to understand that she has better players around her. And she needs to be, if, for instance, when Sydney Colston went out the game and Kelsey Mitchell took over at point, Kelsey didn't, she kept looking for a shot. She didn't try to facilitate to help others get involved in the game. And it made the game more stagnant in that sense. And that's one of the issues that I always had with Kelsey Mitchell. And see, when Caitlin's in the game, Kelsey game changes differently. She's able to move and cut. But when she's the focal point of the game, to be the leader, she doesn't know how to get everybody involved. She's always thinking with her head down and taking bad shots. Now she was 0 for what, 9 early on before the second half, late in the game. She was able to hit some buckets, but you missed a lot of shots. Normally, when you would make, if Kelsey Mitchell had hit half of the shots she made in the first half, I don't think this game would be as tight and as nail biting than it is, because the fact of the matter is you had to play her differently. Now, moving on to DeWanna Bonner. Now, I understand DeWanna Bonner is up there in age. She's 37 years old, and she looked at every part of that 37 years old today. And I mean, she was getting worn out. She was getting knocked all over the place. I think some of them should have been offensive fouls, her getting pushed down and everything like that. But she was taking bad, uncharacteristic shots. Then there was shots that she should have took, she didn't take them. They was hesitant. And you cannot be hesitant in taking your shots. You got to be confident in taking those shots. Um, she didn't really do well. Natasha Howard also, she didn't look well today. She had some moments here and there. She didn't look well today. I didn't like it. I didn't understand understand why they was playing so methodical today. Then you look at Aaliyah Boston. Now we have had this conversation with Aaliyah Boston for numerous times, and she has not. It's like she's still doing the same things that she's doing last year and in Arrival. She really needs to start sticking her um pick and roll picks. She does not set them correctly at all. She is like she sits there and then she rolls off from and she allows her man to come over to trap the player, and then she doesn't free herself up enough to get open where the person who has the ball can't get it to her. You supposed to stick that screen, and then prime example, when they came out of the third quarter and she was able to stick the screen and Sydney Colson was able to come back around and able to find Kelsey Mitchell for a wide open three, that's how you stick it. But then she went right back to not sticking the screens again. There was times that Aaliyah Boston had open shots. She was hesitant to take the shots, second guessing herself. The beginning of the game, you got a wide open, you got a wide open three, and you didn't even hesitate. You took the shot. There was moments throughout the game that you had open shots and you did not take them at all. You kept hesitating. Then when you hesitate and double pump and went up, you missed a bunny. So you can't. I mean, these things have to be cleaned up. Everybody can't go up there and force shots. Somebody has to be under the basket for rebounds. When you force bad shots and the other team gets it, you put yourself in a disadvantage to where you have to run back on defense. Stephanie White doesn't want that. She wants y'all to play up in these players. Now there was one point in the game where it was Lexi Hall, Sophie Cunningham, Bree Turner came in for about 3 minutes. And then when Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall was on the floor at the same time, that's when you see the intensity of the team started taking shape. They was being more aggressive on defense. They was getting takeaways. They was running fast breaks. And to be honest, when Sophie Cunningham came in and she started taking over the point guard part, that gave me all the indications I need for Sydney Colson to sit on the bench. Because Sydney Colson, when she was in the game, she didn't do a great job. She didn't get the ball to them. She took bad shots as well. She set a dribble drive, kick out, create open shots for everybody. And this is something that we alluded to, that in the draft that the Fever should have drafted a point guard to back up Caitlin. Because to be honest with you, Cheyenne Sellis just got waived. There's going to be a couple of people from the Fever. I mean, not the Fever, for the Mystics that's going to get waived. If you plan on keeping Sydney Colson and she cannot run the offense like Caitlin Clark does, if Caitlin Clark goes out of a breather, we're going to have a problem because the ball starts to stick. You need a point guard that's going to come in there and push pace the same way Caitlin Clark is. You got to push pace. That's the only way. If you look at the Mystics, Brittany Sykes, even though I don't care for her too much, she kept pushing pace. Every time she got the ball, she pushed the pace. But she's a ball hog, and she gets out of control sometimes. But she hits her shots. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Fever need. They need a point guard to come in and push pace. Now Jaylen Brown came in also and gave some time. But I'm gonna go into some highlights real quick before I dive into anything else, and I'm gonna show you some highlights. The first thing what got the Fever ignited was when Sophie Cunningham and Kiki Arifin got into it. Was Kiki Arifin threw her down, and then later on in the game, Brittany Sykes did the same thing to Sophie, and she got into their head. Let's take a look.
Strong post play.
Well, take a look. You go down into the trees and things happen. And Kiki Arifin right there had an extra little shove. And she's just like, what I do? Well, you kind of go up, and then Sophie Cunningham pops right up and has a lot to say.
I like the no back down mindset from the Rook.
Hey, man.
And listen,
Sophie Cunningham.
Let's put it. I was just about to say, let's put.
So, see, I'm gonna tell you something. These rookies coming in the game and think this league is going to be like college. You can't throw somebody down and think they're not gonna be. Let me tell you something. If Kiki did that to somebody else, say she's gonna have to go up against a Brittany Griner, a Breonna Jones, all of them. She's gonna get. They're gonna test her because now this game right here shows every other team in the league that okay, she wants to play dirty. So now we're gonna have to send a message to her early. That's what teams gonna look at Kiki Irfin. They're gonna send a message to her. She's gonna get a moment where she's gonna get checked. It's gonna get a moment where she's gonna try to go up there and she's gonna get knocked on her behind. Now she did have 4 fouls in this game. I think 4 or 5. I wanted to foul out to be honest with you. But she wasn't impactful, and that's the thing about her. Let me see. Yeah, Kiki Arifin only had 7 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. 4 fouls. So she's not gonna be an asset, to be honest with you. She's gonna stay in foul trouble. Because I've seen it from her in college. She stays in foul trouble. Now, I'm going to jump to another highlight. And this is one of the good points Aaliyah Boston did in the game. And when they was able to create shots and get easy buckets, it's because they was running backdoor. They was running screens. Lexi did it early in the game in the first half when Sophie cut backdoor and Lexi threw a bounce pass to her and laid it up. That's how you get easy points. Instead of trying to force shots and trying to get shots to go into the basket.
Good D by Citron.
Boston looking backdoor and got it to Cunningham. Found a crevice and threaded the needle.
Another great pass by Boston.
That play right there was like, okay, here we go. Here we go. Boston, and the thing about it is what Kelsey Mitchell should have did, when she came around, instead of stopping behind Boston, she should have came all the way around halfway. So if Boston could not find her on that pass, Boston could turn around and swing it back to her at the top of the key for a wide open shot. So there's a lot of things that they have to get out their mind and start thinking into individually and understand that this game has to flow smoothly. Like I said, the game was rough throughout, but it did. Now, another bright spot in this game was Michaela Tipson. Michaela Tipson comes in the game. She comes in the game. She gives you 4 points, 9 minutes, 2 rebounds. But guess what? She was solid on D. She was solid on D.
All inside for Timpson, who finishes.
I'm telling you, this kid right here has got incredible upside.
Her upside is incredible. Very incredible. So the Indiana Fever total throughout the game. So Dantas didn't play. Jaylene Alaline didn't play. Kaylin Clark was out. Bree Hall didn't play. 4 players did not play today. So if you look at statistical stats for them, there was 30% from the field, 21% from 3. There was 21% for 3, 6 for 28 from the field, 30%. They had 41 rebounds, 18 assists, 17. Well, that's not right. That is not right at all. Let me go to team stats real quick. There we go. All right, so yeah. So field goal percentage, there was 31%. 3-pointer was 6 for 28. There was 21% from there. Even the Mystics was horrible from 3. Field throws, the Fever got to the line a lot. 27 out of 28. That's right there. That's a very important factor. You know why? Because I said that in my live stream. If the Fever could gut games out like this here and able to create shots and get to the line, it's going to pose a lot of problems on teams. They was 96.4% from the field. Sophie Cunningham got to she got to the foul line a lot. Rebounds, offensive rebounds, the Fever had 12, and they had 35 on defensive rebounds. Assists, they had 18. Mystics had 10. Block shots, 2-1. Turnovers, the Fever had 18. They had 25. Points off of turnovers, 17 points apiece. Fast break points, 10-7. Mystics. Points in the paint, 36-32. Fouls, they had more fouls than us, 27-17. Largest lead was 15 for the Wizards. Largest lead us for 5. And that was in the first half when they was up by 15. And the Fever ended up coming back in and cutting into 3 by halftime. Then it was tied 51-51 in the third by the end of the third quarter. And then they went into overtime by the fourth quarter, and the Fever, played it out and got it in. So overall, uh, overall in this game, I think that they need to really continue to focus on moving and cutting. Moving and cutting. They need to move and cut. Um, and it's really kind of like they need to like stop standing around. They still do that a little bit. And they need to be able to understand they got to push pace. Even when Sydney Colson comes in, she has to push pace. She can't just walk the ball up. This is, you got to move. You get the ball, you run up the court. And that's what's going to be hard to understand. Jaylen Brown played good in the second half down the stretch. Michaela Tipson has played really well. Bree Turner played really well in the game. You know, even though Bree ain't had no points, but she was a defensive presence. She had 4 rebounds, 2 assists. She played 14 minutes. Her presence on the floor is to play defense and alternate shots and grab rebounds. It's not made to score. And I love that Stephanie White put her and Michaela on the floor at the same time. That was a great thing. So, and then she allowed Jaylen Brown to facilitate a little bit more, her and Lexi and Sophie. So all in all, this was a hard fought, gritty Indiana Fever game. First game of the preseason, but at the end of the day, still a lot of work needs to be done. A lot of stuff they need to clean up all over the board. I feel like once this team start clicking the way it's supposed to click, I think everything is smoothed out. Like I said, it's the first preseason game, so I'm not so stressed about it as much. I just want them to be able to continue to build on this. Now I do say this: Sophie performance today, 19 points. She had what? She had 19 points, no, 21 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. She almost had a double double for the team. Aaliyah Boston was 7 and 8. She was near a double double. Natasha Howard was near a double double, 8 rebounds and 11 points. So we almost had 3 people in with a double double today on this team. Yvonne Edgem, she came in, provided some stuff. She kind of like struggled a little bit. So now tomorrow, hopefully we get to see Bree Turner a little bit. We get to see Dantes a little bit and everything like that. So hopefully. But again, guys, first preseason game, like I said, it's been rough, but there's a lot of things to be cleaned up. A lot of stuff. Like I said, Aaliyah Boston still has some bad tendencies. She she definitely needs to be more effective. So, um, this is Live Wild Sports Media. This is your Saturday Vibe. I will be back tomorrow. If anything else gonna come out, I'll drop another video. But I, I definitely will be going in live stream tomorrow. So check me out there. Join me for another live stream. And with that being said, Live Raw Sports Media, and you know what it is.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.